You ready, John?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
We got a quorum.
Got going.
Okay. The minutes from the May 17 meeting. Any additions, corrections, anything? Good to me.
Since I don't have Sandy Bemis on this board, I don't have any corrections.
Okay. You know, it will be recorded.
No, Sandy usually she corrects them right during the meeting for me. Okay,
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have the, the fund reports and the appropriation reports, and it looks like we're in pretty good
Oh,
shape.
we had some funds there, yeah.
Yeah, so, no major expenses that we've had, but they're all listed there. I don't know if anybody has any questions or concerns. It looks like the loan repayment that's due, there's enough money in the fund specifically for the loan repayment to cover that. And then there's another 300 and roughly, there's a little over 300,000 in the general operating fund. So it looks like should be in good shape this year,
Yeah, we can pay our bills.
but, and there's not enough money to do a huge project, but there's some money to work with.
That's the burger of it, yeah.
The main thing is just kind of sort of the update on where we are with the Vorhees Jackson drainage basin. And then, really three things on the agenda, or one that. Two, if there's any sort of current active projects or problems that we need to address. And then just basically planning a time to submit our budget for next year, which isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Those are the three things that that are on the agenda. Is there anything else that we need to include?
I don't think so.
Doug, are there any active drainage problems that we need to address as a board for you to meet town needs, or are we pretty?
We don't have anything major right now. Nothing that's we're dealing with. We did a lot of vacuuming and got the majority of them back. We got some more to do, but then we get free time. We send them out and do it. So we got the majority of them done.
Okay.
So we'll stay on it. Just some minor repairs here and there, and then this winter we'll have. While they're out vacuuming, they're making a list of the storm grates that are damaged, rusted out. We'll have a list of them this winter. We'll be pulling in and buying some metal and rebuilding them and all that, but nothing, we've not come across anything major.
So do we have a workable way to kind of keep inventory of all the various drains? So look, we say, well, we've got the majority of them. We can tell people, look, we've hit it.
Well,
We've hit
they keep
85%
a
of
list.
it. Okay.
And so I do have a list down there. I didn't bring it with me tonight. 'Cause I left early today for a doctor's appointment and didn't make it back.
I think you gave some report at the town council meeting too, I think, on the
Yeah.
drains.
Yep.
But this
Yeah, I
available.
see.
Yeah,
I
just
get
so
that.
that if the public wants to know, we can
Oh, yeah.
tell them.
Yeah, there's
we're
a-
87% this year, we're 40%, or
Yeah.
and this is why, weather or other problems. Okay. And that we don't lose track.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah, they've done a
we
pretty
don't
good
miss
job
one.
of writing down addresses where they're at, or the complete street and everything. So I do have it down there on my desk. So, and like I said, I turned it into one of the board meetings that you guys had a list of. So
Any other questions on routine operations?
The only thing, just a reminder, remember Doug Whiteside cornered me about that swale between their mailboxes in the corner behind Fast Pace.
mailbox. I'd have to go by and take a
It's
look.
like 5 or 6 mailboxes directly.
Yeah.
And then from there to the corner, he says the water stands there when they get their mail.
What house does he live in? On
About
the
3 or 4 down on Dogwood.
3 or 4 down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember who lived
Well,
there.
between the sidewalk and is there a sidewalk?
No,
on the
there's
side?
no sidewalk.
He's on the other side.
It's not even there. It's
Do you know where Chad's daughter lives there on?
Plus,
this
you
is
might want
Fast
to
Pace.
keep,
Oh, sorry. This is Fast Pace.
Yeah.
Okay. It's right here.
It's
This is Dogwood.
Yeah.
And this is the retention pond. The mailboxes are right here. He says this right in here.
Where's Fast Pace?
Right here.
Oh, it's right here. Okay,
That's
so
the
we're going,
retention pond.
we're going east.
So this would be Burke Street.
Where's the parking lot over here?
It's a high school parking lot, yeah.
So there's water right here on which side of the road?
On the mailbox side of it.
Which is on the west side.
Uh,
Yeah, it'd be on the west side, wouldn't it? Or is it on the east side?
No, the south side. Isn't it? No, east side.
This is east-west, yeah.
East side. The west side of the road, right.
Okay, they're right here.
It's just between the mailbox and he said the water stands. So he hasn't said anybody for what. I don't think Fast Pace did anything to cause that, but
No, I think it's probably just been compacted over the decades.
Yeah,
It's
over
just-
mail truck.
Little mail truck
I
pulling
just
in
think
there
it's a
and-
rock thrown in it or something.
Probably.
It is a historically low level
yeah.
of that spot, like a lot, and so it's
So
going to
we,
stay that
that's
way.
just popped in with
Okay,
now I can do
it doesn't mean we might not be able to have a drain or a
it.
ditch or check, you know, I mean, we need to check, but it
Yeah.
is,
I don't think, I mean, I think.
No, it's fine, not all the.
I think it's a, you know, next time you got a skid steer in here, just scoop it out.
well, the kind of the Vorhees Jackson Basin, last time we were trying to coordinate, you know, funds with the town as far as, I think we're waiting for video reports and what needed to be done or not needed to
Yes,
be done.
yes.
A sense of the scope of, was the town wanting to do a complete street and the funding strategy. So between Parke and
Well, I
Doug, can you
talked,
tell us kind of where we are on the,
when did I talk?
Infrastructure
I've talked to
underneath.
Roger a few times in the last few weeks. I can't remember which occasion it was, but it's been within the last 2 weeks. Luke was supposed to be going up to, was it Michigan or Canada?
Canada, I think it's,
Canada.
what is today? Wednesday, I think they're gone now.
To
I
pick
think it
up
was-
the video equipment.
Yeah, he bought new equipment or something.
Well, he didn't have any. He's never
No,
had any.
he found some.
So that's the last I heard about the video, Steve. Let me. I think what we can do in cash flow right now, we need to focus on the first stage of the Beadle part of this. It's going to have to be 3 phases. No, there's just no other way. We can focus on that. We don't have any sewer to worry about. I'm concerned about the sewer, but
sanitary sewer?
yes, stormwater. What we need to do is pick it up there on Howard and take it down to the valley there, and we can take the baffle out, right? That's phase 1.
Yes.
Is this something from Structure Point? I think these came from the last meeting. Are these Structure Point documents? Did you bring those? It has to be, because it's a detail of what the sewers look like on Vorhees. There's nothing for Jackson.
That thumb drive right there is the one was Jeff
It has to
Essler
be
had,
Structure Point. That's only about what a videotaped.
or Miller.
That,
And give
I
an
don't,
analysis.
Structure Point generally has their logos on stuff. I wonder if this would be from Miller.
Oh.
I do not-
Why would Miller give us analysis of it all?
I do not know the origin of these documents,
Okay,
but it looks
well,
like,
Didn't Miller
so
do
we're
some
looking,
cameron too?
Miller did some Cameron and agreed with Dave Brown.
But you know,
to do
just
some
looking at
information.
some of the stuff noted in there, it's like, oh dear, okay, you got a dip here, you got a manhole crushed into a pipe here. I don't know. Roger says of course, he felt that we could do a cure in place. I don't know why he would. What's that based on? I don't know.
But your earlier question too, it's my understanding that all the taps are drop in, not in the side.
They should be dropping.
A vertical.
Yeah.
Is that called vertical?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want them on the side.
Which mine is.
Yours, yeah, because it's not very deep down that
Right.
road, is the problem. So the sewer's not very deep
They'll all be drop ins.
up there where you're at all.
But
And most of them probably already are.
we're talking sanitary?
Yes.
yeah, the sewer. The sewer is the first part of this project in Voorhees Jackson. What are we going to do with it? Yeah, that's the
The
first.
sanitary sewer, yeah.
Sanitary sewer, yeah. The stormwater we have figured out. You know, back jumping from sewer to storm, just for information, recently bid water project, one main coming into town and a bunch of other stuff. It was estimated 12 months ago, 14 months ago to be about 2.4, 2.6. Bids came in at 4.1 and 7.1, or 4.2 and 7.1. Big factor is pipe. So that's just kind of, wow, that's what kind of cost increase we've seen.
So,
I guess let me continue one more. Our estimate on this is old, based on old prices. So yeah, it's definitely going to be 3-phase. you know, we definitely need to update the price for pipe. Our engineer needs to get us better projection of what he thinks the cost might be. And, you know, still, I think the plan to go is if we can get by with here in place on the sewer, you know, community crossing is the best way to go. We won't get sidewalks everywhere. We'll get them where we had them, but we won't get, unless we want to pay for it, which we could, perhaps at that time, and we can scrape up some funds from seeded or food and beverage or something. But
So you wouldn't have sidewalks on Jackson because there aren't existing sidewalks.
well, you need at least one sidewalk down the street, don't you think?
Well, you can flip a coin. They'll go crazy.
Do what now?
I mean, somebody will be mad because they got it. Somebody will be mad because they don't got it.
Well, there's always that issue, but you can't make them all.
We put it right in the middle,
Right in the middle. There you go.
and you have lane road on each side. How's that?
Steve, you're thinking. What are you thinking?
Well, a couple things. We've got different stuff. In terms of what we have, I mean, the first question would be, do we want to use, you know, the resources that we have now and move along with phase one of just getting, you know, completing the drainage along Beadle
And
to take all the congestion,
Yeah.
the congestion out of the Howard Avenue drainage system, remove the change the baffle so that we don't remove it, so that we don't run water from a big area in underneath between Vorhees and Beadle. I mean, do we want to just go ahead and pull the trigger on that and say, we'll do that with the funds that we've got because we have a hard time making that a community crossings project anyway?
yeah, I don't know how you're gonna make that community crossing. Yeah, I mean that's the one thing.
It's a stretch. You could wrap it up into these others, but it's a stretch.
Yeah.
And the more you stretch it,
And then you wait, and you get denied.
yeah, you wait and you get, I mean, if, it's a gamble, and if you make it, great, but if you don't, then we've lost time. So do we just pull a trigger and do that?
Well, I like the idea. At least we can get some progress on this.
Well, that also wraps in the fact in RES, we get that altered too, so and tap into that the Beadle Street drainage. If it's altered, then it relieves what the
It puts
race
more-
was put off.
It puts more ability to
Take
take
that.
care of surface water from the elementary school.
Do we have design for that part of this?
Yes,
It's in.
it's in this, it's like 20, it's main, it would be the main line number 2. I'm upside down, so they don't fall in logical order. So, I mean, there's the big picture, we might as well just look at the big picture rather than, let me get around the same side as you guys.
Come on over.
We're going upside down. There's an index, and maybe if I quickly do that might,
There we go.
let's try 40.2, that may be where it's at.
Well,
That's not it. Needs to get to be more detailed. Yeah, here we go. Here's the big picture.
Oh, okay. There we are, up top.
So this is the one that we have a hard time with community crossings directly. Your only possible way to get this as community crossings is to make a true claim that this needs to be done to greatly diminish the water flow that's coming in here and filling up the system that is creating problems draining this now. So you can make a legitimate case that you need this to make all this other stuff effective and work well, and include it in community crossings. So you can make it, one, will they accept that? Depends. The other thing is, by the time we add that, do we get to where we've exceeded the community crossings allowance to where we can't get in, you know?
Well, yeah, each street here is gonna be at least 1 million, probably gonna be
We're gonna exceed
much
community
higher.
crossing, yeah.
Yeah,
So it may be that even if they buy that it doesn't, we don't.
Take away from the others.
Takeaways from the others, but it doesn't benefit us any. So this would be,
Okay, well,
this is the phase one that we've always talked about from back when Structure Point did the modeling,
yeah.
you know, and all that, and they did the initial thing. The next phase was to get this in and get the baffle out of here.
Okay. So do we have specs? I seem like I recall now
Yes.
reading specs on
So
the
there's
pipe size
specs on
there.
that.
It's a
And that's the
big pipe.
cheapest project we got going.
It is.
Yeah. Storm main 2. Okay, there we go. 4.22. So here, you know, this takes it in at Howard Avenue, and it just comes down the street. With this, there's no sidewalks involved, it's strictly pipe going along the old Overton property down in front of Spencer's May that built it, and I forget. Our teacher lives there, and, you know, but goes to that we used to play in.
Looks like we're going right through a tree.
Or around, yeah, I mean,
I think those trees, some of the trees
Are
are gone
dead.
now.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, what size of pipe? Does it tell us?
I think it's 36-inch pipe, 48-inch pipe,
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
and
That's big hole.
about 438 feet, 39, I believe. We could go back and actually look at the pipe table and get the exact specs, but it's gonna be 450 feet of 4-inch pipe.
Vorhees, what is that?
Storm 71,
Do we have any cost estimate on that?
Steve, just for my own education, is there existing pipe here now?
There is not.
There's not. So is there a reason that it has to go there and not
not along there and in. No.
to tear
I mean-
people's yards and stuff like driveways and?
Yeah, it's just probably a matter of shortest, of course,
Distance.
otherwise you're gonna potentially be making an elbow,
90, yeah.
which
45 at least.
creates some resistance to. See what page the pipe tables. Pipe tables. Overlooked. So it should be Storm 71. .48-inch pipe, 438.77 feet, so 439 feet.
Okay.
We're gonna buy 500 feet of pipe.
And what size is it dumping into? Same?
It's dumping into that
Just
4-inch or 4-foot pipe.
Okay,
Eventually it gets into the 4-foot pipe and goes underneath Storm Street.
right, into the creek.
Right. Let me see here. Yeah, so here's yeah, so then he's gonna put this pipe in as well, which is another 257 feet.
54-inch pipe?
Or no, that's six, so that's even bigger.
Where's that actually?
That's this pipe.
Down the creek, 'cause this is gonna, it's gonna have.
So this is where it
Okay,
comes in
he's
from
coming from the
Jackson.
collection basin and bringing it on down here.
Right, because this will collect everything from Jackson and Vorhees will come into this pipe and then have to go down
How
here. So
many
you have the
feet?
combined flow of both of them.
Oh dear, it's gonna mess up Keith's mowing.
That's okay.
How many feet is that?
Keep the mayor busy.
158 here it is,
Yeah.
54 here it is.
Yep.
So 73.
256,
Yeah. So it's
257.
256 of even bigger pipe.
So 2 pipes.
257.
Yeah. But so I don't know that I've ever seen an estimate on the cost for that part of this.
No, I did email and see if we could get it for that, but
So we have that. So we have 2 outstanding. We really need to know. We need the video, an estimate on the slip process broken down by street, and we need this project with estimated costs. And I don't know how we're advertising bids, Doug. I don't know, but we need to make sure we're casting as broad. And we could even directly go. I don't know the company that did the North Sewer project. I don't know if they were aware we were bidding the water project. I don't know if they do water projects. But it'd be nice to have more than just 2 bidders. I mean,
Well, they expressed interest in working more in Rockville, so they must not, either were too busy or they must not have seen it.
it's yeah, and it's concerning because you saw the bids that we had, and it'd be nice to have a little more competition. Just like when we had the streets we just put out to bid.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, it was amazing the cost variance between those 2. Be nice to have a third one there to see.
Yeah, it would have been just to see where that landed.
I mean, I know you can put them on a state form, you can put them in local, but we know enough engineering firms now, or the construction firms, whatever, we could go directly
Yeah.
to everyone, Foyt's and B&T and what's this, it's ISI or OSI?
Yeah, something like ISI or something like that. But yeah, he talked to me early on and said they'd like to get more work in this area, so
But yeah, we need to make darn sure we get everyone we can think of.
Yeah.
Try to get a better bid.
we need to talk about it. Again, what you're doing right underneath Jackson and Vorhees, easy for community crossings. There's got to be an outlet. Is the outlet right here at the edge of Jackson Street? Or is the outlet down here? If we're paying to do this because it's not directly under the street, do we need to be doing this in preparation at the same time?
Oh, geez.
Again, because it's not directly part of the street
No, it's not.
drainage project and replacing the sidewalks that were there. That there were substantial sidewalks along Vorhees until everybody started parking on them and breaking them up.
Yeah.
So and there still are the remnants, so you can still say that sidewalks are there.
What's the distance and the size of this dude? Is there?
Well, we'll have to add up
Well, what was he bringing down
66, 67.
between Tulip and
68.
Jackson? Was there a pipe coming down through there? He's going to replace?
Yeah, so let's go back. It's easy. We'll go back to the main one again. It'd be nice. I'd do it a little different, but I'm not a licensed engineer.
You play one on TV.
Yeah, I play one on TV.
Okay.
Now the sun's long today.
Mowing. It's a bitch today.
Well, it's a good point, Steve. It doubles cost of it'll double the cost problem.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we need to know, because again, if we got, so again, these 2 pieces, kind of no-brainers, that's community crossings. We need the drainage so the road stands, so we can include the drainage, that same old thing.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah. So Storm Main 1 is to get that away from Jackson Street and Jefferson Street. Okay, that's Storm Main 1's function. But the vast majority of the length is not within the bounds of the project. So do you include that in the community crossings application?
And was this going to be replaced?
This is new, as I recall, because the old one, remember, runs under somebody's house.
Right.
And so rather than, you just put in a new one and know what you got and where it's
Right.
at.
Well, gosh, I don't know the fine detail of community crossing applications. I don't know. It's stretching it. I think this is really stretching it. This is much more, because you're collecting it here and you're sending it this way, so it should, I would think it would qualify as part of it. But,
I mean, again, it gets to be the whole argument. This,
now this is coming out, right?
no.
No.
They were gonna leave that. Now, that's a question about, do we really need it? Theoretically, this should take care of it, but theory and having extra capacity, and not getting in a bind are
So
two
we're
different
replacing
things.
that?
Yes, that's the way I interpret it.
That's what I
'Cause there's a
I
new-
said in the meeting.
New pipe
Okay.
schedule, I mean, I didn't see anything like
What?
cured in place,
Is there any way, we're not doing anything to Tulip Lane, right, yet?
just going underneath it
But
or through it.
because you're running, you're transiting essentially the majority of Tulip, would that be another, I mean, you add a couple of drains there, can you do crossings for Tulip?
Well, yeah, you could, but we it's just all about
So,
money.
well, and the scope game. So, I mean, we can make, pictures on the phone and everything else, you can make the legitimate case that the drainage needs to be part of the project because the drainage creates maintenance and life expectancy problems for these roads. I mean, you go through there, it's rough, it's buckled up, it holds water.
None of this
it potholes.
none of this works without this.
We're not.
That's right. And this isn't gonna work unless you get
That all of it.
the congestion out of here. But basically, most of it's gonna go down here. You've still got some that can go this way. And my thought would be, again, if we have, this is my thinking, we've got this bigger capacity here. Theoretically, you might not need that, but if we start putting more water more quickly in from the drainage issues around the school, it can back up. It'd be better to have some additional capacity.
It'll take currently it's going this way,
Right. Yeah. Not only that, really,
all of it.
everything
Michigan.
from 36, well, almost High Street, but at least,
Probably north of High
It
Street.
goes that way. It comes in, this is Michigan, it comes down in there below the library, comes down this way. Currently, it hits the pipe, the old pipe that's here, comes into the current existing pipe, and so that fills up the system with water. This can't drain, and some of this is higher, I believe this is higher than your basement.
Yeah.
So when it's pressurized, that's why you get backflow, probably.
Right.
And other people, so you've either got drainage problems or
Like,
backflow.
even here, like the Vorhees, maybe it actually comes out. Stormwater comes out of the manhole here
Yeah.
sometimes.
Uh,
Used to.
it gets real close. Yeah.
But when you start looking at those elevations, it's close. But
Was there something runs across here behind
Farther up.
Stambaugh's?
it's
It's
west of Stambaugh.
Was this going to run
It,
part of this behind Stambaugh's, the RES?
nothing runs in there. It could. So off of College, it comes kind of in the swale. There was the old Bonomo grocery.
Right.
And then
Bob's current residence.
and then the house just south of that, there's a little swale.
Right.
There's another house and there's Hartman's house, but there's a pipe that comes down through there and then
Go
comes
west of Stambaugh.
comes in west of Stambaugh's, but the school doesn't have any direct
Connection to that.
connection to that. It could be run that way potentially.
What if we run
It's an
both?
outlet, and it would still though end up here.
It'd come across right here somewhere. It's coming across behind Stambaugh's house. It's coming across right here. There's something, because of this.
Yeah, there's a pipe here
Yeah.
that comes across. Now he shows this stub, which I'm not quite sure if that is just tying into what's already there, but it does already come into here, right about this spot. So I'm not quite sure what this little blue thing is. I didn't see a stub off on his other thing, but maybe I just get a lot of pictures to look through. So I'm not quite sure why we're bringing
Connect,
that one in.
well, this just says connect existing pipe. Is that what he's referring to? That's existing pipe? I don't think he's adding anything. He's just showing there's a pipe there to connect to.
Connect to.
I would hope so, but I don't. Let's look and see if there's anything in the inventory. If there's nothing, then it's probably disconnect.
That line backs, well, it used to back up pretty bad. It flooded that, it'll flood, it used to flood that valley there, just
Well,
the
but-
sidewalk.
Yeah, but again, when they did the modeling, when Structure Point did the modeling, it showed all that. And with the changes that was made to Howard Avenue and how that water went out, they said that that would get better, and it did. You know, what was done with Howard Avenue, just getting some of the water and the drainage, the surface water in that area out of there. So it all fits. I mean, the way the model
Well,
said.
back to the question, I think
So it
that
gets-
line, I guess you call it the Storm Main 1, that really seems to me, you got a very strong argument to make it part of the community crossing, because these two don't work without that.
If you split these two up into two different funding, how do you?
Well, you have to put it on one, don't you?
You've got to do this with your first one, otherwise you don't have an outlet for it.
Well, yeah, that's
So
true.
whichever one you do first,
Well,
this has got to
Voorhees
be
is-
part of it.
We want to
Voorhees is the
avoid
one that-
first.
Okay,
Needs done first.
and that would be a shorter length of it, which helps some. It's not tremendously short, but
Wow, look at that zigzag there.
yeah, it's got a dog leg. I mean, it's either, you got to go around, you either go around it or under it, and under it's not,
We don't want to
not
go under
good.
anybody's house. Oh, there's a house up here I think we could probably go under. I think there's a pipe already
Cooper's,
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a pipe that runs
Yeah.
to this storm, underneath this house. We don't know where it comes from.
Anyway, so Storm Main 2, that is the thing well, what about this design work for the school? If we're going to do anything for the school, has anybody done any? We haven't done any work on that.
Didn't the school have some funds?
Well-
probably.
So to me, I mean, we're going to get it, if we roll all these issues into one, we'll never get anything done.
No.
Okay.
So to me, it's kind of modular. It's like, if we do this, we have more capacity here. We have options,
We can always go
You
back.
can potentially run some to the northwest and put it into the drains that were installed when college was done 12 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Right before we came on the board, or
Yeah,
as
it's
we were coming on the
2011.
board.
Yeah, it's 2011.
Potentially, we could have outlet there to get rid of some of their surface drainage water. We have a better solution here for them, because you could run water into this 48-inch main and get it out of here. Because our only current solution all still goes into the drains on Elm, that come onto Michigan, that come underneath Howard, that go
And it puts pressure on
between
everybody.
Voorhees and Tulip and congest that whole system.
Back up a minute, Steve. I thought we had some drains, at least the gymnasium at the grade school, that went into the sewer.
Well, some of them do and want to get rid of that, but the stormwater drain has come out toward Elm Street.
Right,
They
the
all
ones
got
on the
drains.
surface drains on the ground.
Yeah, they go
Right,
toward
yeah.
Elm Street,
Yeah,
and that water comes this way.
okay.
So currently, if they don't run it into the sewer like they are now, it's going to come out on the ground, which means it either accumulates and causes all kinds of water problems for them, or they run it into the storm drains, and the current storm drains, again, are going to come in and congest this pipe that's part of the dysfunction of this whole basin. So you definitely need two. Somewhere this is needed. But I mean, even to get, you need this before you do the rest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do. You can't build that uphill and then send it all downhill and not have anything ready.
Okay.
We'll just have another problem on our hands and upset residents. Okay, well, so that's where we're at. So Storm Main 2 is the top priority.
That's Beadle Street, right?
Yeah. So we need design and cost, and also we need to know about the sewers on those two Jackson Voorhees.
Okay, let me touch base on the sidewalks. Because you said if they're not there, it might be a hard sell to get.
Well, we couldn't include it as part of community crossing, it'd have to come out of our pockets.
Okay, because I'm not sure that anybody, I'm speaking for people I've talked to, I think on Jackson Street, they're more concerned about losing all their street parking than having a couple of sidewalks.
Well,
So why don't we, the board approved a bike pedestrian plan, and you formed a task force. Why don't we ask them to make a recommendation on what to do about sidewalks in that neighborhood?
well, we could, but I mean,
You still gotta fund it.
you still got to fund it, which is the big thing. I mean, sidewalks are one of the more. They're not cheap, but they're least expensive compared to everything else. Darn.
Well, the storm drains, I don't understand how you're gonna have, you have Miami curbs, you have curbs that just hang out in the middle of nowhere with no sidewalk attached to them or near them. I mean, will you backfill that with dirt and becomes my yard, or, I mean,
Well, yeah, sidewalks.
I have no
are
problem
nice.
with that.
It'd be nice to have sidewalks at least down both streets, at least on one side. It's just good public safety. I mean,
Yeah, well, and it's public right of way. I mean, that's public right of way, so people need the ability to pass, whether they're on cars, foot, bikes. I mean, to have free motion, that's part of freedom. And so, but it would be good to have somebody, I mean, rather than us decide it, task them with coming up with a recommendation. And we've got one plan here, and also alternatives. We could see, well, maybe it makes more sense to have a 5-foot sidewalk with a little space on one side of the street and not the other. And maybe it's better to have curb and sidewalk on both sides.
well, we certainly have the time to collect the information, take more input on it. I mean, there's pros and cons to just like you have more parking, don't have sidewalk. If you had sidewalk on one side, some people may be mad they don't have it, and maybe happy they don't have it. You got all those different issues.
I would put a lot of weight in tree root growth of the future when you.
Oh yeah, you got
sidewalk
that
placement.
issue. Trees that shouldn't be where they are.
What Jackson Street doesn't really have, so, it's in a couple places. I mean, Voorhees is your problem job.
Part of what makes community, I mean, you keep saying over and over, part of what makes communities successful is they're walkable communities. And you look at the whole, and there's a variety of reasons for that, but again, to me, you got a group that can do it now. Let them give a recommendation on it rather than us. I mean, in the end, we're gonna have to look and figure out how do we fund it.
Right.
But we at least need to know what would be best from a community standpoint with the sidewalks. But there were enough of them in there before with community crossings, we can at least get them on Vorhees without any problem.
Right.
Cost share.
And it seems to me that it's the more narrow of the two streets.
There, Voorhees is, yes, it seems to be.
To have two sidewalks.
It's also got the most density, which means you generally need the ability to walk.
And it has more traffic. A lot of people use that to cut through. As opposed to Voorhees, it's almost or Jackson's almost a dead end because of the way it stops down there. And which brings up that one alley everybody's just going in and out. That's supposed to go down to Stark. It needs to be addressed one of these days. The one they had blocked off when they had the tree down, I think that's one that a lot of people use. So anyway,
So how do we get, I mean, do we just want to show these plans for that storm drain, the drain two to several contractors and get some estimates? Is that our next step?
well, I guess we have the design, don't we? That's probably the next step then. I would like to get B&T and who all we got? We got B&T, we've got
Prices in town now.
we got Price, we got
Let's call them out on the road if any
B&T.
Um,
We've got, what's that, OSI, ISI? Or
ISI, I believe, and then, I can never pronounce it right.
Foyt's.
Whatever, Foyt's. Yeah, we wondered if he would get involved now he's in town, but he hasn't really.
Who's that?
Colin.
Colin. Well, he bid on that 40. He bid in the 41 North. He was very close. They were within 100,000.
So yeah, he may jump in on something like that.
You're talking about bidding out Beadle Street only.
Yeah, Storm Main 2. So I guess the specs are there.
It'd be putting in Storm Main 2 and so potentially removing the baffles.
Of course, well,
Once that's in, we can remove the baffles. Of course, you can probably remove the baffles.
well, back up the bus. Okay, so we've got that. We asked for what's the word I want? Basically, a quote. I don't think that's a term they use in this work line of work. But we asked for an estimate. Proposal. RFP. That's what I want. RFP. We can't wipe out our fund.
Well, we don't know till we know what's going to cost us. We get our proposals and then we meet again and discuss what we're doing.
How can we pay for it? Yeah.
Comes in. We got some funds
We have some. Yeah.
based on our estimates from when we started this whole thing of trying to do the community crossings years ago, and we made our initial proposal 3 years ago to the town council. The one option was, well, we just wait, and it'd be about 4 to 5 years, and we'd have enough money. We could do it, but that's all.
Well,
we're about there,
The
and so depending
stormwater,
on,
yeah, the stormwater debt's paid off in January 27.
But you're not keeping up at this juncture. I mean,
But inflation-
every 6 months that goes by, your prices increase exponentially.
It's
So
been bad. Hopefully it'll slow down.
but if at least we know what it is. I mean, if it ends up that it's okay, it's 600,000, and we've only got 300,000 available. All right.
Well, then we
can't.
go.
Maybe we can't do it, or maybe we do it anyway.
is that when you go to community crossings for that project though, to tie in with the other, saying that it's essential for the other two streets drainage? Do you try to get grant money for the Beadle Street project too? Didn't you say
Well,
that?
we talk. That's our guess. Do we include it now in our first community crossings proposal? Say we want to do Vorhees Street, but to do Vorhees Street, we also have to have
this.
an adequate outlet, and to have adequate outlet involves both Storm Main 1 from Vorhees West
Right.
and Storm Main 2 to eliminate the congestion of all that other water coming in there.
On Howard.
Yeah. Again, you can argue it. It'd be nice if they'd buy the argument and they'd fund it. But the counter argument would be, well, you really should have done that when you did Howard in the first place. There's a lot of ways if they don't want to, they would have a lot of valid arguments why they shouldn't fund it. So
Mike.
if we can get it funded, it's a good deal.
But my concern is the time element, that we never, get proposals and, wait a minute, we don't have this amount of money, we need to go back and do this, and that adds another 3, 4, 5, 6 months to the grant process, and then now by the time we get that all sorted out, now we're up another 200 grand, and
Well, but if we get a proposal now, let's say we get a proposal within a month, and we find out, okay, it's within the scope of what we can do, that's one thing. But we get these, again, we got a print, we got a spec, we say, we get that, and it's way out. It's
Yeah.
600,000. It's like, okay, we can't do this realistically with what we're doing. We're gonna have to try and make it fly with either
crossings.
Okay.
community crossings or go Okra or do something.
Okay.
But, we'll have to do something different. But if it's, okay, we can get that
We hadn't
that
talked.
sketchy area out of the whole grant thing, it's a very strong case. Again, here's your pictures. Here's your pictures of Vorhees during the rain.
We haven't talked
Look
much
at the
about.
water puddle. Here's your
Okay.
picture of Vorhees Drive. Look at the potholes.
We another alternative to wrap all this, well, except even that we could wrap it all up into an Okra project. Of course, max when you get 700,000, you have to finance the rest for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. We had the revenue, the cash flow, and stormwater to pay all that. Yeah, I need to look at some other options and what we've been looking at.
But at least if we know, if we say, okay, bid
You got a
this,
ballpark,
Right.
bid this, and when's your availability? Is it gonna be later this fall? Again, you're not gonna tear up the way it's currently done, you're not gonna tear up a street, you're gonna, have yards, you're gonna have to do it. Is it gonna be next spring, next summer? When is it gonna be, and what's it gonna cost us then? Then we know what it is, and we can look at our budget. But in my mind, it'd be great if we could get those bids and meet again in a month or so and say, yeah, it's a go,
pull
or,
the trigger on something.
look, we can budget for it. They can't get to it till summer of '24, but we'll have more revenue, we'll be that much closer to this other bond being paid off, and we can handle more, or
Yeah.
we gotta have a different strategy, and we know, look, we just gotta roll this into whatever we're gonna do with Okra.
So,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Could I ask a question about what you were just talking
Yeah.
about? And 'cause I come in late on this conversation, so are you basically saying that what you're dealing with now is the worst scenario, you be out further than what you're planning on now as far as doing the Vorhees, Jackson, and Stark because of the funding?
The cost has always been a problem.
Right.
The storm funds by themselves are, when we looked at it, it's a 30-year deal to get enough funding to cover those projects, and we don't wanna wait 30 years.
Yeah.
So the problem is funding. And so it's trying to play whatever game we can to get outside funding from state or
Get
federal
outside that
sources.
realm so you get it done.
So we can get it done. Because if we wait to use it just with storm funds, it's just like this. We do main 2 that we need to make it work. We can pay for that, but then it's
You're just
gonna be
putting it off
years
year after
before we
year
can have
after
enough
year.
funds to do Voorhees, and then another decade before we can do Jackson.
But this juncture, we're talking months, not years, from the get-go,
To do the main.
to do the main.
Yeah, we could do the main. If they knew that it was 200,000, we could
Do it tomorrow.
meet in 2 weeks, vote, pull the trigger, and get it going, but we need to know what it costs.
well, Chad, how do we want to approach getting a request for proposal from these different firms? We need to type something up.
Doug.
Chad, dadgunt, Doug. Doug, how do we want to approach this?
Well, I guess I'm gonna get with Brandy on it and see how we wanna do this. And
Okay.
look into as many options as we can to get it out there.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, I'd rather come and sit and have 3, 4, 5 openings instead of just 2.
Yeah, I know.
Because
That's
if those 2 know that they're the only 2, obviously the price is gonna be higher.
You'd be able to throw out the high, throw out the low, and find somebody in the middle.
I think our blacktop bids proved
Mm-hmm.
that one guy thought he had it, and no competition, and then one slips in, and there was, obviously a huge difference there, so.
Huge, twice.
Yeah, so we definitely need to, I'll get with Brandy and see how she does it, how many other options we got of putting it out there, statewide and everything, so. On
Yeah.
everything we can, like I said, call them sitting right there, that'd be nice to get them involved, and
So do we need, so that we don't have to re-meet and delay, do we need I guess Chair would entertain a motion that we instruct Doug to work with Brandy to get, cost,
What, RFP?
an RFP for the Storm Main 2 as specified in the DES specs
Hang
of
on.
630, okay,
As specified in the DES,
specifications of June 30th, 2022 for Storm Main 2.
right,
And that would be, for its installation and remediation or repair of any disturbance to, private property when it's installed.
I just put various property.
Well, yeah, various, because it could be town streets and sidewalks. So to me, that would be it, and then they show, they could reference, but they should be able to look, here's the under drain layout, here's storm main. I hate to put all these things and then miss it, they need to look at it and double check our work.
Right.
But so here's the big picture.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at. Here's his table of what's there for materials. Here's his specs of, manholes and basins and stuff. And of course, when they do it, they may look at it and say, hey, Doug, this isn't doable, or,
Okay.
we went out there and we shot some levels and we had a wet spot or, whatever. But so we do that and we ask them, it'd be nice to meet 4 to 6 weeks and review it.
I'll meet with her in the morning, but at least she leaves early tomorrow and off Friday. So I'll go ahead and meet with her tomorrow morning and get it.
So moved.
I'll say it. So yeah, the more I think about it, guys, I think we really should consider trying to do it all together under an OPA, perhaps.
Well, again, once we get this main two, we know whatever it is, and we've got these previous estimates that we know are low.
We can get the maximum OPA at 700,000. Maximum we can get per year under community crossing is 1 million, and you have to do 25 is the standard. You go up to 3, but 25 is 250. So 250 times 2 roads is only 500. We can still get more total match, if you will, out of Okra.
You're saying do it all, Beadle, Jackson,
Boom,
Voorhees.
all of it. You won't be able to get your house for a year.
I'll do fine. I got an alley behind me.
But I think there's a lot of merit to that, and
But we got to have those numbers, because then we got those, plus we got it for the other two,
yeah,
the streets. Then we can start to figure.
we need
Time.
updated estimate on cost for Beadle or for Jackson Voorhees. We really
So
do.
I emailed, earlier this week, Roger, about that. Of course, they're gone, so but we could have that hopefully by
But it'd be nice, we're
6
looking at.
when we come back with this.
Seriously, I would not be surprised if the original estimate was just shy of 2 million. I wouldn't be surprised up to 3 or more, based on what we've been seeing in the last 2 projects we put to bid. So if it's 3 million, it's 3.5. We can get 7. Then we know what we'd have to finance, and then we can figure out. Okay, well, we have current debt here. What can we do?
Because this is all absent sewers, sanitary sewers.
That's all absent sewer. Yeah, we got that issue to address. And yeah. So yeah, we need to step back and look at this from another funding point of view, and I think that's a good way to look at it.
So do we, all in favor? We've passed this.
Oh, I've already wrote
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah, when we want to meet.
Well, yeah, I think we need to,
You-
I think it needs at least a month. Don't you? I don't think we want too long, whether a month, do we need a month enough, I
Keep
think?
dragging.
I don't know. It's up to the fellas that might submit the proposal. Where are we here?
To me, it's like, it's a straight run of pipe. They know what the pipe is.
Well,
They've got an estimated cost.
we gotta be after the Bridge Festival.
Gotta be
Why can't it be
Oh, I'm sorry, this is.
before.
August.
this August?
Yeah.
Why not the
How about the
20th?
13th?
The what?
September 13th?
Wow, you're
I'm out of town 20th and 28th, so.
okay. Well, we could shoot for it. 13th. It should. You're right. So it's a straight shot of pipe. There's 2 different sizes of pipes. It's just boom, boom. It's pretty straightforward estimate, I think. So 13th. Okay. Hold it. I won't be in. I get back. I won't get home till late that night. I'm out of town. Doggone it.
You're a big boy. You're used to it.
Yeah, I probably won't get back town till 7 or 8.
At night,
Yeah.
you go right straight to bed. You get your usual 5, 6.
But you guys want to. You guys want to meet?
Well, I'm okay either meeting at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm okay at meeting 7 a.m. Thursday morning, the 14th.
Oh, 7 a.m. Thursday morning would be a lot better. I mean, I'd be back on my regular schedule, and I'm up early anyway. Kevin, you're up early.
Yeah. Keep editing. So
Because I mean, pretty much we're
is
just.
it the 14th then?
Yeah.
Thursday morning.
And the 13th. You don't want to do it on the 13th. Bad number.
And I'm born on the 13th.
You were?
Yeah.
See, explains it.
See, that tells us all about Kevin.
You got more evidence.
7 a.m.
Okay, 7 a.m. the 14th.
Where at?
Here.
We'll just,
You got a key, that's right.
What?
we'll do 7:30.
Oh, yeah, I can do 7:32.
7:30.
So I guess now we're going to be we would be opening
That's
RF.
the 14th, right?
Yeah, 14th, 7:30 in the morning. Are we opening? Sounds
We're
like
gonna review the RFPs,
review them.
or open, whatever, what's your right terminology?
Well,
We're
typically,
not committing.
We haven't seen the RFP
It's-
yet. I mean, we got to see the RFP. The RFP should be out before then for the meeting. And we should be able to open the proposals.
Open proposals.
yeah, I guess the bid's what they call it when they actually have bid opening. Yeah.
Right.
Well, doggone it, I guess my concern is we get a bunch of information out there of costs. You can't have that public information, but unless you're actually accepting one, you know what I mean? You can't have 4 or 5 different companies bid on something or give you a cost. Are we asking for a cost estimate, or are we asking for a bid? Of course, we ask for a bid, and that means
The proposal's a bid, if you ask me.
okay. So we're opening bids, but we don't have to award them. Based on a cost, we may not have to be able to award them. So yeah, okay. So it really is kind of a bid opening.
I mean, that's the way I used to do it. I mean, when I would get a request for proposal, I had X amount of time to submit all my costs, and they would say, we're gonna review these, and we'll let you know on such and such day.
Now, normally we have our attorney open them, but the executive officer of this board can open them too. You'd be,
All right.
I think that's fine.
Do you have a conflict with 7:30 a.m.? Are you at school or?
I have to hit record and go to the crosswalk, but
That'll be okay for a
make
day.
it work.
Okay.
I mean, if we need it for him to do it. It's 7, I don't care whether,
Not too worried about it.
okay. Well, but, I mean, to me, it seems like, if they come in and it's something we can afford, we're probably gonna say,
Just pull the trigger.
let's pull the trigger before it goes up higher.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've known for 5 or 6, 7 years now that we've needed to do this. It's just trying to make.
If the national politics doesn't change course, none of this will matter.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, now, go back to what you said about wrapping the whole thing up. Are you gonna get an RFP for the entire project?
No, not right now. I'd like our engineer to come back, give us an idea before we go out and ask. And then we'd also need to talk to Cindy, but we need to look at the big picture long term.
Engineer, are you talking about Decker or are you talking about the guys, the bidders?
No, Decker. I want him to come back and give us an updated cost estimate like the one he gave us a year ago. I'd just like to, this thing, just update that thing. The 1.9, I'd like to see where he thinks it's at today based on current prices. But yeah, we need to look at the other options.
I wanted to justify it. He needs to justify that. I can do this for you and just put it by twice the CPI or whatever. I mean.
Well, it's not a problem. The CPI is a joke when it doesn't really measure actual
But
costs.
I'm just saying. I think though that the more times we do this, I think that the less serious it gets taken.
Mm-hmm.
But the DES thing,
Well-
you're not going to pull the trigger anyway. So I think half time on the meetings we're cramming in the car on our bullet points and we've got no real information to give us.
Okay, well, I appreciate what you're saying there. We need to. It'd still just be nice to know what he thinks it would be today. His recent estimate was so far off. I think he'd be more interested in coming up with a timely, or more accurate estimate on this, basically.
And you point that out to him based on the last thing. Let's do a little bit better job on this one.
Yeah.
Is there another engineering firm that you could have them take a look at those particular costs and say, as a consultant, and say, who was bidding the project?
There would be other engineering firms we could use I had no idea whether they'd be interested. You know, he said, look, we want your cost estimate. This is the specs. We're not necessarily asking you to redesign this or
No.
anything, but we would like you to cost estimate this project. So I mean, we can do that as a board. We have the authority. I mean, they're not gonna do it for free, most likely, but, I mean, there's.
Well, we should get this at no cost updated. And we'll look at that, and I need to look at.
But when we come back in
Guys, this will-
September, we'll know if we've got that cost estimate for all the rest of it.
Yeah,
We've got the bids for the part that we don't think we can make part of community crossings anyway.
but that ochre, I just really like this ochre idea, doing it all at once.
Then we make the decision about what do we do it all? Or do we do it incrementally? Or do we
May have to do 2 ochres.
have to do two of them?
But I think we need to impress it upon Roger that, you know, we're really trying to get this thing going now.
We need a pretty,
That we're not just, you know, we're gonna meet 6 months from now and say, well, we're not kicking the can down the road this time. You know, sharpen your pencil, my friend.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't want it over 5% off,
hell no. The other one was 62%.
62, 52.
62%. To the low bid. Yeah, I know. And here we are
No,
trying, and we don't want to send the money back to the state from Okra, so we're scrambling to figure it out. We've got, I think we've got it figured out. But yeah, it was just, oh dear. Yeah. Okay, so where am I? I need to,
But that really kind of answers then the next question about, you know, the budget thing. Again, we need this information to make
It's a starting point.
fiscal plans for the next year. So we can just say, okay.
Cool.
So the only other thing, I would make a motion that we ask the group that's reviewing the bike and pedal, I forget what their name is, or Mary Ann Blaine's head of it, but we ask them to look at the sidewalk, at the DES engineering specs, to look at the sidewalk and make recommendations about.
what should we do? I mean, given the space we have,
What should we, yeah.
what should we do? Should we have 2 on each side, 2, 1, none? I mean,
What's the best for the community?
May I say something about
Okay.
sidewalks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk about it. Was there any talk amongst yourselves about doing the sidewalks similar to what you did Howard Avenue with the bike routes? Put the sidewalks just right beside, like you have the bike routes on Vorhees and the other 2 streets that you got, rather than visit, blow it out, pouring cement, make it.
The plan, what we discussed, Donnie, was that rather than have that 3-foot gap of sod that no
Yeah.
matter what you curb, is to butt the sidewalk right to the curb.
As far as making the bike routes, that takes enough space.
Rather than what it is now.
Yeah, the footprint of Howard Avenue is too wide for the right-of-way that we have down
Right.
on Voorhees. Jackson, we don't know, but again, it takes a lot of footprint
Yeah.
to do that.
I think it would be a great idea to do those 3 streets like you guys did Howard Avenue and do away with the sidewalks, what I'm calling the old-fashioned sidewalks that we had.
So again, the bike and ped plan, I mean, they're aware of a lot of different options of way to do things.
Right.
More than just the one option we've got here. And if we let
Yeah.
them look at it and they can work with the local property owners, communities, that kind of thing, and give us a recommendation. You know, I mean, it doesn't affect the really expensive part of it, which is the pipes and the inlets and the
Yeah.
curbs.
So we got a motion. Steve made a motion. I'll
Yeah,
second. I'll second.
Okay, request Bike and Trail Group to look at the Voorhees Jackson project for best setup of sidewalks, their number, location, size, etc. And Report to the board.
I can email Miriam Blaine.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Cool.
I do have a question over there
Do you
on.
want me to take this one or this one? I'll give it to Miriam or,
One of them's Brandy. Yeah,
we
Brandy's.
won't want to stay here for sure.
Yeah, I think that one's hers. This is the one you brought, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
So it's the same though, so,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying,
okay, so we can, okay, alright,
don't let the engineers or anybody come in, don't let them run off with it.
no,
Yeah.
okay.
What's that committee called? Bike and pedal or something?
I just put bike and trail.
Bike and
Well,
trail.
yeah, sidewalk, the bike and ped plan was approved, and that plan was approved. I don't know what the name of that, the official name of the committee is. I
So the
don't know if it's
committee's
just
still
the
meeting after?
sidewalk,
Tom
well,
Stambaugh, he's got water issues, storm water issues.
Where?
He's wanting to run storm drain behind his house
Uh-huh.
and tie into that one drain you were talking about.
Town has to do that, don't they, tap ins?
yeah.
He wants to run it, well,
He's
that's,
having water standing or getting in his crawl space. He's got a
Yeah,
guy
mold,
coming
I
in.
mean,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
had that
mold.
all cleaned up. He's wanting to, he's got some guy, I don't remember the guy, he called me. They're gonna put downspout tie-ins and run it and then wants to tie it into that drain.
okay, so he's gonna tile his
And then
downspout.
run it out back into that drain, out back.
Yeah. Where's the hole in that clay tile back there? Water used to shoot out of it when it get backed up from the storm,
But we had said in all previous meetings, though, that any tap ins and storm sewer,
right, it can't be done
that'd be done
by,
by town.
No, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Is there a charge? I've never
I
charged.
think there was, I have to look back on the minutes.
That'd be
there is, there should be.
It's
Okay, I'll
something
check the
fairly
board.
inexpensive.
Yeah, it's not much, it's not like a sewer.
Well, no, but it still should
It's
be
like 10 or
something.
15, it was just something to be sure.
That's an old
people-
clay tile back there. It's-
Yeah, it should be.
I'd have to look back through minutes.
So see what, doing it into the clay, not into the main. that-
And you know that property behind his garage, the Furthest North garage, that's not his, that other house
Okay, comes all
owns
the
all the way
time.
up to the sidewalk there.
That's why it looks like
Okay,
crap.
he'll have to,
So, yeah, I got that issue too.
okay.
Yeah, we don't want to be
Kronk's
on
the
the other
name.
guy's property.
Mike Kronk, I believe his name, is his name. His daughter's the one that bought the Overman house and is fixing it up.
Oh, really?
You know.
That'd be a pretty place all done right.
Yeah, it will. Well, folks, thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
The plans you've got, is it step by step, or that you've got the storm drainage, the sewer, then you're coming up next with all that plans?
Storm
for
sewer's
the
not,
actual.
just storm drains on this plan, no sewer.
No, sir.
So the plans haven't even been thought of how you're gonna do the street,
How do the what?
the street.
Yeah, the
like-
street's on there.
Street's on there, but just,
Oh, is it?
we just didn't want to, we've all been of the mind if we're gonna have everything tore up and big holes dug in the ground,
Do it
might as
all
well
at
place
once.
these sewers. But it's a different purview between this board and the town board. We can't get grants for the sewer from.
We have no authority over water, sewer, electric, or gas. But yet it's all in that street, so if it's tore up, we would hope
It's all gonna be done at
that
once.
whatever else needs to be done, it's
Yeah.
done, and it's not
Redig it.
10 years from now you're digging everything back up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's why I like Oak Grove. And, you know, realistically, what costs been appearing to be up, we may have to do 2 different Okras.
Or in future.